Firelight on wet stone, a mask carved from a turnip, a whisper passed through fog. Long before candy, before costumes, there was a night when the dead returned home, and the living, afraid to be seen, dressed like ghosts to hide among them. They called it Samhain, the end of summer, the birth of the dark.
Subscribe.
Long before Rome, before kings or calendars, there were only tribes and the weather. The Celts lived by the turn of light, not by time, but by its fading. To them, life was a circle: birth, growth, harvest, decay. And when the circle closed, the world paused, just long enough for something ancient to step through. They watched the sky, read omens in the smoke, spoke to gods carved from stone. The sun was not a symbol, it was survival. And as autumn bled into frost, they gathered in hollow fields. They built great fires, pillars of flame that roared against the wind, each spark a plea to the heavens not to abandon them to the cold. Cattle were driven between fires for blessing, bones cracked in the flames, their smoke twisting upward, a prayer, a warning. On that night every sound mattered, the rustle of grass, the cry of a crow. They believed the veil had thinned, that spirits both kind and cruel could walk again. Some came seeking warmth, a hearth remembered. Others came hungry for what they had lost, so the living disguised themselves. They wore animal skins, painted ash up on their faces, and hoped to blend in with the wandering dead. They left offerings outside their doors: milk, bread, honey, and the first of the harvest. No gifts of devotion, bribes. The message was clear: take this and pass by my home. On stone steps they placed carved runes, turnips, beets carved with crude faces, candles burned within, their hollow eyes trembling in the wind. They called them soul lights, little fires to confuse what lingered. But some said they did not keep the dead away, they guided them home. Centuries passed, empires rose like tides and fell just as easily. Then came Rome, iron, law, order, and with it a hunger to control what could not be named. Samhain refused to die, so they baptized it. In the 7th century, the Church declared November 1st to be All Saints' Day, a holy day for the dead, a candle over a bonfire, a hymn over a hour. But the eve before, the old night, remained untouched, still wild, still whispering. The people still lit their fires, still wore their masks, still walked the line between the worlds. They called it All Hallows Eve. In time, the name grew shorter, but the shadow remained long, and with every century it changed shape again. What was once worship became superstition. What was once ritual became game. Yet beneath every disguise, the same fear burned quietly, the fear of being seen by what should stay unseen. Through rain and ruin, the custom endured. In medieval Europe, villagers carried the memory of Samhain like a seed in their blood. Even when they no longer spoke the word, they remembered the feeling. The church permitted souling. The poor would wander from door to door, offering prayers for the dead in exchange for bread, ale, or coins. It was charity disguised as salvation. Children joined in, their voices small in the cold, carrying paper lanterns that glowed like captured stars. They sang for the lost and begged for sweets in their memory. Yet beneath the songs, an unease lingered, because some said it wasn't the souls of the faithful who came to collect. In the dark lanes between villages, lamps flickered, dogs howled, something unseen walked with them. And every year, as the nights stretched longer, people remembered, not with faith, but with instinct, that this was not a celebration, it was an understanding, a pact older than language. They fed the dark, so the dark would spare them. The poor disguised themselves as ghosts to ask for offerings without shame. The rich lit candles to mark the dead and perhaps themselves as remembered. And across the fields, where mist clung to the earth like breath, the lights still burned, waiting, listening. Then came the famine. Ireland starved, and with its people its stories crossed the sea. They carried Samhain with them, not as ritual, but as inheritance. In America the land was softer, the nights brighter. Pumpkins replaced turnips. Fires became parties. Fear turned playful. But the bones of the thing, they remained. Children now wore costumes, mocking the ghosts once feared. They knocked on doors, demanding sweets, without realizing the echo of what they invoked. Trick or treat, a modern spell, a promise, a threat. And the adults laughed, forgetting that laughter was once a warding sound, a charm against dread. By the 20th century, Halloween has shed its skin completely. No longer about survival, but spectacle. Yet something persisted, a heartbeat under the noise. Why do we still hide behind masks? Why do we chase fear in the dark, call it fun, call it tradition? Maybe because we remember, not with the mind, but with the marrow. That once, long before lights and laughter, we needed the darkness to remind us what light was for. Every year, the ritual repeats. Candles in windows, masks on faces, laughter sharp as glass. We say it's for the children, for the sweets, for the stories, but the truth runs deeper. Every pumpkin carved, every door opened, every flame that burns against the wind, it's a small defiance, a reminder that we still fear the dark and honor it anyway. We are still that same trembling species on the edge of the fire, watching the forest breathe. The names have changed, the faiths have changed, but the night remembers. Because this was never just about death. It was about belonging, about finding shape in the shadows. A mask, a candle, a whisper through the fog. They say the veil still opens just for one night. A thin breathing moment when the old world and the new look up on each other again. So if someone knocks, and the wind smells like rain and smoke, and the flame in your pumpkin flickers, don't ask who it is, just leave the door ajar, because once, long ago, we were the ones wandering home.